Hey, this is Grant from 49 Sports Games, and you're listening to Digital to Dice.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to the Digital to Dice podcast, episode 285 today. For those of you scoring at home, I am Dave. I'm joined again by my friend Vin. Vin, welcome back to the show.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome, Dave. Joe, thank you. And this is going to be a fun conversation.
Yeah, and down south this time. I don't know if he's down in South America or Mexico or Antarctica. I don't know where he is, but he's south now. Joe Cards is joining us again.
Hey, guys. Welcome, everybody. Great to be back here again.
Now, are you in Antarctica? Are you down there doing one of those surveys down there in the dark for 6 months? Is that where you are?
No, I'm actually scouting baseball. No, I'm kidding. I'm down south scouting Dominican Republic, scouting baseball. Fifth for Keith, so you can put some new game together.
Well, yeah, it's just you got to think of that. The people that go down to like Antarctica for like 6 months at a time, they're in the dark the whole time. They must have to bring some games or something, right?
Oh my! No, I'm actually on the Gulf of Mexico in Florida.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's been beautiful.
Yeah, look kind of nice. We've had some crazy weather here. Today I went out. Let me get the contact information, then I'll talk about what's going on with us here. Contact information, digitaltodice.com is the website. Digitaltodice.com is the website. 978-751-DICE is the text line. Digitaltodice@yahoo.com is the email. And over on Facebook, facebook.com/groups/digitaltodice. And if you'd like to support the show, we have a new Patreon this weekend. We're going to thank him in the 3 stars. Patreon.com/digitaltodice. So again, thank you so much for that. So today I had to go out and get my my car stick. It's called a sticker out here. You know, you get the yearly inspection is what we have here in our state. And so there's this place I like to go. It's kind of off the beaten path. It's further away from my house than I usually go. But it's like I've been going there since COVID. And I remember going there during COVID, and the guy was so nice, and he did my car. And I just sat on the bench, and it was an October day like it was today. And he did the inspection, and he was just so nice. And so I've been going back to that guy for 5 years straight. I just make it a point to take the extra ride and go to this guy's place. So I went down there today, and it was kind of like pouring rain today. But the bench was underneath the little awning. So I was like, okay, I could sit outside like I like to do. A crisp day, nice October day, just wait for my car to get done. And I'm sitting there, and I'm just watching the traffic go by. And then, boom, the biggest thunderclap you've ever seen. Like everything just I thought there was a huge accident because it's a little two-lane highway.
That's what you were going to say.
I thought it was a monster accident, and everything just kind of stopped. And I was like, and that was it, just the one. And there was like nothing after that. I didn't see any light, right? And so I get home. And I'm telling the wife, she's like, oh, my gosh, we pulled over. We were on the highway. Her and her sister were out. They pulled over because they thought there was an accident, you know. And then you get on Facebook, and everybody's like, did anybody hear that explosion? It was so loud. It was so – and I was sitting outside. I got a good listen on that. Oh, my gosh.
That'll get your
that's actually
quick.
So that's how it happens down here in Florida. Sometimes it'll be 95, 98, and all of a sudden you'll be driving and boom, you think it's like a crash, and it'll pour for like 7 minutes and then dry up.
Yeah, Florida's crazy like that. You get that downpour, and then it stops, and it's like,
7 minutes dries up.
Yeah, it's like it never happened. Yeah.
You know what that reminded me of, Joe? When he talked about the inspection stickers. Remember back in the day in Brooklyn, if your car wouldn't pass, you had a guy to go to.
Right? Everybody knew a guy.
Everybody knew a guy. Yeah.
That's it. You hook it up, pay the X amount of bucks. Whatever else.
You know, I still, as I approach 60 years old, okay, I've been driving since I was 16, I still get nervous going to these inspections because of how many times I failed as a kid and why I failed and what I was going to need to fix it and all that stuff. I do. I have some anxiety going, and even if it's a brand new car, if I buy a brand new car and I take it to the inspection station, I am still anxious because of how many times I failed as a kid. No joke. And there was one time as an adult, something really stupid happened. Like it was like your headlights were off by an inch or something like that. It was something like this guy took like an hour and a half to do this. It must have been a new guy or something. So, yeah, so I still get anxiety going to these things. I do. Anyway, why don't we get into what are we talking about today? Let's talk about that. So we have a new series here on the show that we're going to be doing from time to time, and it's going to be called Now and Then. And today's episode is Now and Then baseball games. So we're going to talk about baseball games, and we're going to got a little comparison about like some of the older games versus some of the newer games, some of the things we like, some of the things that have changed, some of the things we'd like to see. And we're going to start this Now and Then series with baseball games today. So that's what we're going to be talking about here. And then at some point we'll tackle some of the other games as well. I don't know if soccer's on that list. You guys might have to do that without me, but that's something.
We'll get Marco on.
We'll get Marco on here. And Ryan. We'll get Marco and Ryan on here. Yeah. And you guys can host. And I'll be on assignment that day.
So we'd be covering, 4 soccer games that are out there?
I don't know, maybe.
Because I know there's a couple of baseball that we got to cover.
But anyway, we're going to get into that here today. So let's get into what we're playing first. All right, let me cue the music. Here we go. I'll kick things off because I'm going to be real simple here. I really haven't played much. I played a quick game of Apple hockey the other day. And aside from that, I've still been fighting off the cold. I did play the game called Pick Up Leaves in the Yard. That was kind of fun. If you guys haven't done the Pick Up Leaves in the Yard game, I did enjoy that, actually. I didn't run into the coyote this time, by the way. I was a coyote-free leaf cleaning. It was kind of enjoyable. But on the table, I did pull out, and I did play a half of second season football, and I played 1977 Houston at Seattle. And the score at the half is 13-12 Seattle. It's been like a weird game. I had a missed extra point from Houston. I had a Billy White Shoes Johnson 97-yard kickoff return. Oh man,
Billy White Shoes.
Yeah. When those things happen in the game, guys. And it's so like what would really happen, because there's a little note on that 77 Oilers. It says any gain longer than this on a return for Billy White Shoes is an automatic touchdown. Okay, and he got it at the 3, and it was longer than that actual game. But when I rolled on the long chart, though, it still was 97 yards. So he got it at the 3, and he got into the end zone on his own anyway.
Nice,
but. I remember saying, let's see if Billy White Shoes has any magic. And I kicked it off, and then whatever I rolled, whether it was a 66 or a 40, it was the exact number to check for the long haul. And then I rolled again, and I got the long haul again. And that was that stuff there. I still don't know how they do it with these games. Mm-hmm. In video games, you can see it. It's all programmed in, and you catch it and you run whatever. But on a cards and dice game, when Billy White Shoes Johnson goes 97 yards for a touchdown, that stuff there is just magic. It is.
It is. Exact word I was thinking of.
It is.
And I loved him. My favorite was Rick Upchurch, but bar none as far as a return guy, because I used to do that when I played. But Billy White Shoes was so exciting. And then he had the whole celebration with the knees.
Oh, yeah. And he got the football. Oh, man. Yeah. It was, so and I envisioned that. I go, there he's in the end zone, the knees clanging the football in the air. It was a very special moment. And that's what I'll talk about for a while, is Billy White Shoes taking that kickoff 97 yards for a touchdown. And you don't want that every time. You don't want it every time.
No,
right.
But when it happens, it's like, if anybody plays Ohtani and he gets 3 home runs in a game, that's going to be special to somebody there when that happens. But you don't want it every game. So that was great. So I played a half of football there. So I did get that on the table. I don't think I got anything else on the table. I think maybe after we record tonight, I might pull out my payoff pitch and get back to my 76 Red Sox. I'm dying for some 76 Red Sox. Oh, no, I did play I'm sorry. I played a game of APBA baseball the other night. I did play a game of APBA baseball. A Sunday night baseball.
Online?
Yeah, Sunday night baseball. Yeah, I played some APBA baseball. It was who did I play? I think it was Milwaukee. It was 2 American League teams from 77, actually. I've been on a 77 kick,
wow.
If you can't tell.
I see.
Milwaukee and, I don't know, maybe, I forget who it was, Chicago White Sox or Detroit or something like that. And, of course, what happens? It goes to extra innings. I can't.
White Sox. Wasn't that the year they wore the shorts? Those blue shorts in 77?
Was it?
I'm almost
You
positive.
remember what year
but,
that was?
my brain doesn't work, but I think it was.
They did wear the shorts, and I'm trying to think.
Oh, that was sick.
Yeah, no, it was
Ron LaFleur sliding with shorts on.
Ron LaFleur. Oh boy,
We played on
from the
concrete,
past.
but I was,
Wow.
when I played on concrete, I actually played in jeans because I'd slide on.
So it was. I'm sorry.
Dad.
It was Baltimore, Oakland. I don't know, but it was two American League teams.
Oh, we were close.
Yeah, I was close. I thought it was Milwaukee.
Well,
Oh, it was Vita Blue, Jim Palmer.
Ooh.
That was a good matchup. Yeah, and Jim Palmer had a perfect game going through 6.
It's my all-time favorite pitcher.
And then somebody homered for the A's, and they went back and forth. It was a fun game, and I think I went to extras, and then but yeah, that every time I play a single game, it goes to extras. It's just kind of how it goes for me. But yeah, so I did sneak in a game of it, and that was APBA Basic, and again, I'm throwing this out there. If anybody is proficient in the APBA Master Baseball game, I'd love to carve out some time and come on here and have you walk me through it. And I know some people have done some videos, but I want to sit here and have us each have the cards on the table and just walk me through the procedure, because I did it before and it took me a while, and I see people who are pretty fluid in it, and there's got to be like a little system of you don't have to check this every time and do this and do that. So I'm kind of hoping someone will sit and walk me through it at some point so I can kind of get up to speed on that. I mean, I could go do it myself, I guess, but I'd like to have somebody kind of say, hey, I'm great at this game. Here's what I check. Here's what I don't check. Here's how I can save some time. So if anybody, just reach out to me, digitaltodice@yahoo.com.
I think right off the bat, Dave.
I know who you're going to say. I have two people in mind.
Tebow.
Yeah, Tebow did reach out to me. Yeah, so he's going to be one of the guys.
That's what I was going to say.
But I'm throwing it out to anybody, because there might be someone out there that I'm not aware of that plays a lot of the games. Like, geez, Dave, I play that all the time.
Ryan? You think Ryan? Because he's a big APBA baseball guy.
I'm anybody that plays it. I mean, that would be willing to sit with me for a half hour, 45 minutes to an hour, and just kind of go over their procedure. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm looking to do. I'm looking for like a procedure, like a little cheat sheet, so I can write down. Go, here's what I need to do, because there's so many different things that happen in the master game, and I really like it, but I'm so slow because I don't have what I'm really supposed to be doing. Mm-hmm. So someone that because there's a lot of games I'm pretty good at, and so I'll sit with somebody and I'll say this, and this, and it helps people learn it. So now I'm kind of looking for that too. Someone that I can just ask a question and like bang, they don't even got to worry about it. They'll just get it to me. So just throwing that out there for you guys. But that's what I've been playing. A little bit of second season football, a little bit of APBA hockey and APBA baseball. Joe, what have you been doing?
Okay, so I've been playing a little Hockey Blast and a little Hockey Blast Express for my 81-82 co-op. I'm always doing that. I actually played Vinny like this series. I replayed the 85-86 Rangers Montreal playoffs and using shootout hockey. And Montreal won, but don't tell Vinny.
Oh, wow.
I didn't cheat this time. And today I actually rolled in my 55 National League replay. I've been using payoff pitch, and sometimes I use pocket pennant run, but today I use strat. I usually jump between those three. So today I rolled a game of strat of my 55 replay.
Nice.
And you got stuff waiting for you back home. They're stocking up on the front.
Stocking up. My daughter's like, another package, Dad, another package, Dad, another package.
Imagine she wasn't there to pick them up and bring them in the house.
I was going to tell her to throw them in a box and ship them. But then I got to bring them back.
Yeah, no. Oh, man.
I have enough
what
with me.
Doing? I thought you were playing more.
Who, me?
I thought you had more.
Well, I tried out a couple. I did a couple of bouts with John Turnbull's new boxing game.
I thought.
I think it's for an express game, a quick express game. I think it's pretty good. I really enjoyed it. I like it.
Didn't you do some season ticket football? No.
No, I actually that's my next. I want to do something with season ticket football.
I thought you had played one because
I haven't played one.
I haven't been doing much, as you guys know. I had so much going on at the house, and all good stuff. I put a whole new wireless system in. This thing is phenomenal now.
Nice.
They came out and fine-tuned it. We got 2 new TVs, one down in the basement here. I went a little bigger. My daughter's room, it's actually with this, they call like an art. It looks like a piece of art when it's not on. It displays all different types of art and stuff. But the game, the screen is unbelievable. So when I lay in her room, as she's falling asleep, I have it on mute. I don't need to listen to it. The hockey games, they're like really, really cool. The
nice.
Screen it's really nice. So then they put sound throughout the house. So the funny thing was, every time I thought I would get to the hockey blast I was trying to set up, I'd get a little bit done, and the guy would call me. A little bit done, and the guy would call me. My wife would just look, and she's like, I'm sorry. So, well, I got to get done. I must have went up and down my stairs this week more times than I've done in the 17 years we're living here. Now it's done. It's all good. So I did start playing. I think I let you guys know that today. I was playing the 22-23 Bruins. The team is really, we know how great they were. I mean, they broke the all-time points record against Vegas. And I started getting barraged with penalties. And for some reason or other, my head just couldn't handle it. So I took a pause. So Bruins are, it's halfway through the second period. Bruins are up 1-0. It's a good game. Hockey Blast is such a good game.
I love it. It's my favorite. One of my 49 Quick Ducks and Hockey Blast are my favorite.
And then, like I said, I got the update from Grant, so I separated all the old stuff. And I put that aside so I don't confuse everything, because in his notes it says everything that had to do with the previous Quick Decks, remove, take them out.
Wow.
And
and make sure you do that, because that's the issue I ran into with Payoff Pitch, is that I had the old Payoff Pitch, and then he updated some things, and not that anything changed, but just things were formatted a little bit different, and I was going back between the old and the new, and I was getting them mixed up. And I was and so 2 or 3 times I put Payoff Pitch away, because I'm like, I just can't deal with this. And then I watched somebody, I think it was Replay Gamer, and he did a video saying, hey, the new Payoff Pitch stuff is great. And I was like, you know something? I think I'm going back and forth. Let me put the old completely away and look at the new. And the new, like, okay, it's just laid out a little bit better. It made more sense. So I says, I'm going to just stick with the new only. And once I did that, Payoff Pitch went right back on my table, and I wasn't confused anymore. So make sure that you don't mix the two up, because that'll mess you up.
And you'll read them in the notes. Grant you don't suggest it. He tells you don't keep anything from the old version.
Yeah.
Because everything was redone.
I did ask him that. I think I asked him on the show. I says, could I combine the 2 decks for one big deck? He says, no. No, he says that's illegal. You can't do that.
You'll mess stuff up. Yeah.
You'll definitely compromise the integrity of his game.
Yeah. It's 17-2. What's going on?
Something's wrong. We've been getting a text. Something's wrong.
Boy. No good. So, yeah, I mean, my game will pick up. It will definitely pick up as the weather gets it's been beautiful here, but when that time comes, it'll pick up. And right now, I'm definitely in a hockey mood. My Canadians are definitely adding to that. A big loss against the Rangers, but it's so early in the season, they bounced back.
I told you.
The Rangers beat somebody?
Yeah, my team.
Ugh.
And we scored.
And then they lost 2 nights later.
First 3 minutes, we were up 2-0.
Yeah.
But anyway,
on hockey, I know we got to get on to the topic. Did anybody happen to watch the Boston game, the tribute they did to Marchand?
Yeah, that was great. Yeah,
that really was moving.
Yeah,
really was. I said, I said to Vinny, put it on, and I texted. I says, these guys, they got empathy, they got heart. They'll get tears, and then as soon as they go out on the ice, they'll bang you to kingdom come.
Oh, they have to.
That's why I love hockey players.
Yeah.
Or lick your face.
I don't know how they do it.
Did that?
Yeah, hockey play. Like I say, when the game ends, that's it. They all go out for beers. They'll kill each other. Well, not all of them, but most of them.
Yeah,
it's true.
I remember going to minor league games, and there's a bar right across the street, so we'd go and get a beer and a burger before we go home, and both teams would come in after the game, and there's these guys, and they're like, I'm thinking about buying a house and this and that and the other house, and it's like, weren't you guys just like beating the crap out of each other? And they're like, yeah, but that's over there now. The game's over. It's like, okay, it's just understood. So it's like, okay, I
always said they're the rarest breed.
Yeah, I agree.
There's very little carryover. There's some, but there's very, very little. So anyway,
the game is great. All right.
All righty. So let's get on to our topic of the day, shall we? Alrighty, again, this is part one of our new segment. We're going to call this Now and Then, and today we're talking now and then baseball games. So we're going to start with the granddaddy of them all, the biggest of them all is the baseball games, and we're going to talk a little bit about the old, the new, what's changed, what we like, and the whole bit. So, Vin, why don't you lead us off? You kind of come up with this topic.
Well, I thought it was pretty interesting because not only have so many games have come out in the last, I'll say 10 years, so many baseball games. We know it's the biggest, it's the most played of everybody. It's the most likable game of everybody. Favorite sport for the most people.
Probably the easiest too.
Yes, without a doubt. It's easier to, I can't make a game, but it's the easiest one to put out there. But the ones to go back to, right? Stratomatic, APA. As a kid, I never really played APA. I did play Stratomatic. I remember when it was basic only. I cut my teeth on that. And then it moved to the advanced version. Then it moved to symbols, ballparks,
super advanced,
home runs.
Well, what are your thoughts on that? So you started playing the basic, and then they started making the game a little bit more complex, a little bit more detailed. What were your thoughts when that was happening?
I was okay with the lefties and righties for a while. But I don't think I was smart enough to realize how you can game the system. Especially we had draft leagues. And I think my oldest brother, because he was 8 years older than me, I think he kind of knew how to do it. So when you're in smaller leagues, guys could load up all lefties against a right-handed pitcher, all righties against a left-handed pitcher. The left-handed pitchers usually struggle in every game. Lefties struggle. Especially on the computer. I have not dove into full replays with these games, the latest games I've been playing. I've never done a full replay with History Maker. I've never done a full replay with Payoff Pitch or Season Ticket, any of those games. I got to believe now with the advances, the lefty pitching, from what I have played with it, it's not as pronounced as where they just don't perform. I mean, I had computer leagues for years, and guys would complain. Sandy Koufax would struggle. Even though our league was like 20 teams, he would struggle. He just couldn't. He wouldn't pitch the way he pitched in real life. So going back to the question, no, I didn't mind the lefty-righty splits. When they started not overcomplicating it, but adding more and more, because these sports enthusiasts, they want more. Baseball fans are as fanatical as we are with our hockey. We want to see everything. So they had the ballparks. They had singles. They added, which I love, they added the E ratings. Because you remember the early versions were not as in depth with the defense. The advanced versions had the E ratings, but they weren't they didn't have as many. I think it was something like that. Now they're really in depth. I love the E ratings. They added the arms for outfielders and catches. I love that stuff. So I think for the most part, Stratomatic did a good job, and they pleased everybody because you don't need to use them all. I don't have to play the game with all the symbols. I don't have to play the game with base runners having to take the lead. I prefer that. I think it's more realistic. But I know guys that just play basic stealing. They don't even factor in the catches, arms, or anything like that. To me, it doesn't make sense. But again, John Doe likes that. Do it. But there are so many options. And Joe, you notice you're still a Stratomatic guy. You don't have, with the club, you guys don't use every single super advanced rule. Correct?
So and the funny thing is, in the club, I actually play the most super advanced. I'm not as a solo player, I play the advanced with the E ratings. But in the club, I get two guys. Okay, I have two guys. When I play them, I should say. Okay. I play the most super advanced. But I have like three other guys who just do like basic. Like when we match up, they'll say, Joe, do you mind playing the basic game? And I'm like, not at all. Right. And then the next guy will say, you want to play just an advanced game? Not at all. Right. And then the third guy, super advanced. Right. So that's like you said, that's the great thing about that game. Right. There's so many there's 3 different ways, and whatever you like, you can play.
And it's endless. It's endless. So, and I have to believe, I've never played APBA. I've seen it. People rave about the basic game.
I like it.
It's accurate. It's quick. Did we play with your house? I forget.
No. Actually, Ryan introduced me to it, and I started playing. I like the basic game. It's a nice quick play game.
But I don't know when the master game came in.
I don't remember. I don't remember when that happened either. People told me, and I forget now.
But I have to believe that was the same kind of reaction, because APBA stats have always been historically accurate, as people have said. I can't attest to it, but I believe them because they've been playing it for a long, long time. So they come up with these symbols and whatever else they add, and I don't believe you need to use every one. So those options are good. Those options are good, but that's for the 2... the oldest historical games, in my opinion. I don't know. 2 granddaddies,
like Dave said.
Yeah, that's the way to say it. And, and now we've evolved into these other games that have just added other stuff, different mechanics.
Do you think that the newer games, and I'm saying last 10 years, let's call it the last 10 years, okay? And I'll include, season ticket baseball and payoff pitch and pocket pennant run and things like that, okay? It doesn't have to be like this year or last year, but let's say the last 10 years. Do you think those developers have had an advantage in creating the game with, A, seeing what worked and maybe what didn't work so well with the older games, and B, with technology and stats?
Joe?
That's a great question. I think yes. I think what I see in some of the games that came out, and we'll say in the last 10 years that I've tried baseball wise, I'm on to them. Sometimes I see a little Stratomatic in it. I didn't see APBA until I started playing APBA, and then I'll go back and play that game, another game, and say, you know what? There's a little APBA in it. So I think those two companies, those 2 games, did help the developers. I think they were foundation. I'll put it that way, for the developers to say, okay, let's build on this. Can we improve this? I didn't like this. Maybe we'll take this away. So I do think they were the foundation for a lot of the baseball games that have come out in the last 10 years.
Yeah. I think I'd be foolish to say otherwise. It's 100%. Way more data's out there. Way more tools to be able to pull that data. Different software. Like, I guess that falls under the tools that they're able to test so much more. I don't think Strat was able to spin off 1,000 games back in 1970 to see how accurate it was. Today, these guys can do that, and kudos to them, because they are doing it.
Yeah, right. Yes, it's great that they have that.
It's going to make the best of the best of the best for their product. And you know what? They're doing it. And then you got a guy like Keith, as we all know. He comes out with a baseball game that doesn't even have numbers.
You're reading my mind.
And who the heck from our background would think how is that going to work? That's like, even his football game had numbers. Not a lot. His ratings go from 0 to 2.
Yeah.
But then he came out with History Maker Baseball, and it's like, how could that work? Stoic. This heavy hitter home run. It works perfectly. And it's fun, and it makes for a great baseball game. The narrative of it all is, and Joe, you play a lot of it. It's a really great game.
It is.
So Keith uses a whole different dynamic of how he creates his game.
On you saying that, you were reading my mind, because I know I had said previously, all these developers in the last 10 years and Strat and being the foundation and APBA, I don't know about that with Play. They broke the mold. That's what I was just going to say. I don't know that Play built on those foundations of those 2. No. I think he came with a whole new different concept, which is, I remember the first time seeing cards and before I played the game and saying, Well, no numbers. Being an old strat guy. What do you mean no numbers? And then I watched a video of the game. I think it was actually Marco Scola's video, and I was like, "Wow, dude, I gotta get this game."
I mean, it's just, he broke the mold, and I don't ever remember anybody even attempting anything before that like that. Never. But Keith, he hates when you say it because he's a humble dude.
He's a modest, humble man.
Yeah, but he's one of a kind in this hobby. He's one of a kind. His mind goes where others, I don't think, could even attempt to, because he goes with a whole different type of game. Look at Hockey Blast. It's all symbols and qualities. And he based a whole game and company around that type of stuff. I think it's genius, but it's just another plus in the baseball gaming community.
Yes.
You got guys Clay is, highly intelligent guy. Joe Bryant, standard stat guy. I love payoff pitch. I love season ticket baseball. Yes, they were able to go back to your original question, pull from data that was never available before. And again, they're getting the most out of it. And their products are they're outstanding. And there's so many other games. Like, I remember fiddling with Extra Innings. That was a really good game. It was a lot to absorb at times, but it was a really good game. It was very accurate. Replay Baseball. It's a great game. Great game. That's been around a long time. But Pete Ventura improved on it. And there's nobody that plays Replay Baseball wouldn't say that. I forget who the original guys were that Pete bought the company from. I'd have to sit here for probably a month now, the way my brain works, to remember. It was a good product. They had the one row. Some guys still like to use that. It's called the tall pitcher cards. It had the one row only. And he turned everything into a 6x6 grid. And then he slowly put in lefty righties splits. I always felt it was the most subtle way, but it worked. Going back to strats, I didn't like it because I felt like one side was overbaked, overcooked, too strong against another one. I don't know how Appa does it, but I can't see how they would. I don't think they did it like Strat. They have lefty-righty splits in the Master game, correct?
Yeah.
Right. You could just see the huge difference when Strat does it. Replay? No. Season ticket? No.
Let's talk about the game engines for a second here. As you guys were talking, I've been making some notes here. You got the Strat where it's either off the batter card or off the pitcher card. And some of the complaints were, it doesn't matter who's pitching me or you, or it doesn't matter who's batting me or you because of one card is always getting ignored. Okay, and that was complaining about that with the APA. In the basic, the pitcher rating of A, B, C, D, it just felt like the pitchers really didn't have enough input on what was going on. There was no lefty-righty split. Everything was baked in. And then you get a game like Payoff Pitch where they offer both. They offer the lefty-righty, and then they offer just the standard. But it's not off the pitcher card. The pitcher is the one column, and then the batter is the lefty-righty split. And, different games do it different way. Season ticket is kind of a little bit of both. There's some columns for lefty-righty and some columns that are right down the middle for no matter who's batting. Talk a little bit about the game engines. There's really no perfect game engine out there, is there?
For any sport. No.
It would be boring. It probably would be boring. Imagine if the game engine was perfect, I'm saying, and you're just replicating and constantly replicating. Yeah. That would be boring. Yeah. I don't want that.
Knowing us gamers, even if we found the perfect game, we'd still be looking to play another one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Do you think that's why we play different games? Do you think that's why, you'll play Strat for a bit, and then you're like, I want to play some, season ticket, or I want to play Payoff Pitch, or I want to play, name your game status. Again, there's 100 games to choose from. I'm just kind of picking things out of thin air. Do you think that's why we do that? That sometimes it's like, I'm in the mood to play this way, and then sometimes I'm in the mood like a nice simple game of Appa Basic, or I want to get crazy with Appa Master. It's a little bit. Do you think that it's kind of good we have different ways to play, because sometimes we have that itch to play a certain way?
I do.
100%.
Yeah, 100% like Vinny. I do. I got it's and not to get off. I know we're talking baseball. I got asked that about hockey today. Somebody said send me a private message and said, what's your favorite? And I said, I don't know that I have a favorite. I said each game engine offers something that I favor in each game. I'm looking for we could go to History Maker Baseball, get back on baseball. You know what? I want that. I feel like that narrative tonight. Mm-hmm. Let me pull History Maker Baseball off the shelf. Or I just want a quick, fast, basic game. Let me pull out the basic out. Or I want that middle of the road advanced. Lefty, righty. Let me pull Strat out. So I think, each game, I think we do that. When we feel whatever mood we're in, and glad we have all these different games that we could do that.
Joe comments to me a lot when he's going to switch games. You know, Vin, I want to play this because I'm looking for this right now. You know, I want to play this because I feel that. And it's not a slight to any of the other games he's playing. No. You know, like today, I said I got a little, and listen, I'm not old, but I've been struggling. You guys know that for the last 4 years now. Sometimes I lose focus. So today I was playing Hockey Blast. I was so into the darn game. It's on there. I still have my notes to go back to it. And I rolled like 5 penalties in a row. Yeah. And on the one play, I rolled a 7 twice on the penalty finder.
Oh, boy.
Twice in a row. I'm like, oh, man. Okay. I said, I'm going to note this. Because if you're with it, like, you can figure it out. It's not hard. But I couldn't. I had the guys just let whatever it was. I said to my wife, she goes, what's the matter? She looked. I said, I'm getting a little overwhelmed here. She goes, put it down. I said, I am. And I went downstairs. That's when I separated all the Quick Deck stuff. And I had it set up. And I was going to start a Quick Decks game. Because I want to learn the full version with the Quick Decks. But the highlights, I know I could pick that up in the middle of a sleep and play it. The game that I thought was going to be so hard to learn. So to answer your question, yes, I know we play different games at different times for different reasons. And we have so many reasons. And especially with baseball. You could find any type of baseball game you want to play. Dave, you break out Appa Basic and you're done with a game in how long?
Yeah, 20 minutes, yeah.
You get 20 minutes, you could do a game.
Yeah.
And you had a great game. And you had a great time.
Yeah. I held Willie Mays in my hand still. You know.
Strat Basic. I could play Strat Basic as fast as anybody. Anybody. I still enjoy it.
Now, here's another question for you. Okay, so we're talking about some basic games. We were just talking about how, the games have advanced a little bit. Strat went to advanced, super advanced, and now Appa has the master. And, there's other games that have the same thing. I think Season Ticket has a basic mode and Payoff Pitch does too. And then you can get a little more complicated. Yep. Do you think when we get more complicated with a game, meaning that we're coming out of the straight, easy, basic mode and going into something a little bit more. Maybe complicated is not the right word, but I guess it kind of fits because it's not just basic. It is more
more detail.
More detail. Do you think when we get into an advanced mode where it's a little bit more complicated, it's a little bit more difficult than your standard basic mode, do you think that makes the game better or more accurate?
That's a good question.
Because there's some people that'll swear by the basic modes of some of the older games and say my results are spot on. A good example. I'm just getting out of baseball for a second. The highlight hockey. Grant has been playing his highlight hockey, and his numbers are spot on with the highlight version, not even the full version, the highlight version. So I'm kind of wondering with baseball, what do you think about that? Do you think it just gets complicated to?
I think, you know what, I guess it depends on the game engine. And I'll go back to Strat and Vinny's point he made earlier. So I think when you will take Strat, you're using the catcher's arm against the steal rating. You're holding the runner. Or is he getting the lead? I think that does make the game much more accurate. I mean, it's not perfectly, but much more accurate and realistic. So if that's what you're into, maybe it's not complicated to you. because that's maybe what you're looking for. Some people who just stick to basic, they might feel that's too complex for me. But I do think it adds more accuracy.
I feel, and again, we'll use Strat. It adds detail. People want different things in a baseball game. I think the stolen base system in basic is broken. It's just too easy. I know guys that have 200 stolen bases with, like, say, Ricky Henderson or Vince Coleman. To me, it's not. It doesn't work. But as far as the rest of the stuff, I played basic. I played basic in other sports. I played basic replays in baseball. And like you said, Dave, I seen stats that they're very believable. Very believable. I'd go as far as saying accurate, you know. We don't want them coming out. Well, and if they came out exact, you'd be like, wow, that's 1 in a million. But if they came, you know, you can't get them exact every game you play. And every game is different. But I don't think you need all of that extra detail. Guys enjoy it. It feels more like their
I think that's the word you just said, feels like it. I think that's the key, because how many times, you know, if you're playing like the basic mode and you got to hit the left field and the guy goes to third or whatever, hit the right field, it goes to third. And then in the advanced mode of whatever game you're playing, you do all these hoops. You see where the ball was hit. You check the runner's speed. You check the outfielder's arm and all this other stuff, and he still gets to third. So you've done all these extra steps and all these extra lookups for the same result as the guy going to third base in basic.
Right.
So you got to kind of wonder, does it just make us feel better to check all these numbers to see if he gets to third or to see if he scores or whatever the play is going to be? You know, is he thrown out at home? And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, because, you know, I know when I play some of these games and I check the outfielder's arm versus the runner's speed and he's thrown out at the plate, I feel as though that outfielder made a terrific play and maybe another outfielder wouldn't. Whereas if I just get that automatic result without having to check arms and speeds and he's out, I don't get that same feeling that outfielder 100%. Gunned him down.
Right.
But the result is exactly the same, and it's taken less time.
Right.
But I don't have the feeling as though.
That's a very good point, Dave.
Yeah, that just kind of came to me, yeah.
For me, again, I'm going to the game I played the longest, the most, and Joe can relate to this. If you play the basic version of Strat, and I would almost think it's the same as APA, and I don't know, we'll go Sammy Sosa hit 60 home runs the year he went nuts or whatever it was he hit. I bet he does it with basic. And I bet with the home run ballpark option, he comes exactly at 60, or one of them is going to be within 4 or 5. Yeah. So do you just want that because it feels like real baseball? I get it, especially with baseball. But I don't need that stuff. Now, I love the outfielder's arms and stuff like that. I love the catcher's arms. But you don't need to have all that to make it.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No. You don't need.
You know what? I hated to throw this wrench into this, but it does make you think. You spend all this extra time to get the same result.
I'll tell you my theory on that. Okay, the three of us, we're gamers. We play pocket pennant run. We play Strat. We play APA. We play payoff pitch. We play season ticket baseball. What I've observed, and again, probably because of my club, I have dedicated Strat guys that won't even look at another game. And I'm sure APA has that too. Mm-hmm. Those are the guys that want every detail of the game because it's all they play. Mm-hmm. And I think Dave and Vinny, we've probably discussed this with you. I get like, Joe, how do you not play the super advanced? Because I play 4 different baseball games. If I was playing Strat all the time or APA and that was my only game, I'd probably want every detail.
Right.
Because And that's what I think the difference is. That's why guys like us don't look for every detail. We enjoy it in some games, but these guys who play one game engine only, they want every detail. And I probably would too.
Yeah, I agree. That's a good point.
I had to make that decision with payoff pitch because, again, if you follow the show, I've gone back and forth to payoff pitch a few times where I loved it and then I hated it and I put it away and then I loved it and then I hated it and I almost sold everything at one point and said I'm never going to play this again. And then I went back and then when I finally get rid of the old and just brought the new and I just stuck with the new, everything worked. But I had to make a decision because with payoff pitch there's so many different ways of base running. You can just flip the fast action card. You can go with the basic mode. You can go with some kind of a optional basic mode. Then there's an advanced mode where you're checking runners' speed on every single thing that they do. And so I had to figure out there's like 4 different ways. And I said, okay, which way is Dave going to do it? Because I would do one way and I said, well, that ain't good enough because the runner's speed doesn't come into play. And then I was like, well, do I want to check the runner's speed every single time there's a hit that's going to slow the game down? Do I really need to do that? And so I ended up figuring out I went with like the basic optional way of doing it in payoff pitch. But once I did that and I stuck with it and every now and then it tugs at me like I should be checking the runner's speed because, if you got, George Scott running the bases, a Rusty Staub compared to, a Willie Randolph or something like that, that's 2 different, types of speed out there and they shouldn't be getting the same amount of bases, but the thing is they could. You never know where the ball was hit. So once I settled on that, now I really like payoff pitch because I settled in and I said, no, I can't be tempted to do it any other way. Let me just stick with this way. This way works for me, and I'm happy with that. So for me, with payoff pitch, I ran into that where I was like, do I play advanced? Do I play really advanced? Do I play basic? Basic felt too basic. Advanced was a little more than I really wanted, like Joe was saying. Do I really need to do this? I don't think I do. So I'm kind of in the middle somewhere.
That's where I'm at with it.
You know what was interesting is a few years ago, might have been quite a few years ago, I think it was Baseball Demos on his channel. He did an experiment with payoff pitch. And I think he played 2 of the same teams and used the same dice roll. And what he did is he played one with the lefty-righty splits and one with not the lefty-righty splits. And I think he got a couple of different results from the game. So we talk about, lefty-righty and playing a little bit more advanced. And I'd have to go back and look at that again. But I think a different team actually won the game. I think it was that different of a result from going just straight down the middle without any lefty-righty and then using the lefty-righty. He got some different results when he did that experiment. I'm pretty sure he did.
I could see that.
And so that was
definitely see that.
That was interesting.
And again, that's one of the options that are out there for like baseball. Gamers have so many options. They probably have as many options as they do games. And I think that's just testament to where this hobby has gone. It's fantastic. It's just fantastic.
One of the things that I'm seeing now, because, like I say, Strat started basic and App started basic, and then they've added their advanced. I'm noticing that there's some games, at least that I play, that offer different ways to play. Like the Clay season ticket. He's got the basic mode. He's got the one sheet mode. And you play that, and you can play real basic season ticket baseball. Same with the payoff pitch is a real basic way of playing that without getting into the weeds. And then with each one, you can now add a level of difficulty to the game. You can add the runners taking the lead and trying to get picked off, and how they steal bases and different things. And I noticed that, and I really like that. And I guess you could probably do the same with Appa and Strat. I haven't tried it, though.
For sure.
Is you could cherry pick which of these advanced rules you want to use. And there's some
100%.
Some that I just don't bother with because it just doesn't interest me at all. But there's some that I really like this. So I and again, with Apple football, I kind of do the same thing. I play basic, but I have a couple of advanced rules that I slide in there because it makes the game a little bit better without going full into the master mode. And so I really like how some games do that they say, here's the basic game, and here's all these things you can add to it if you really want to get into a deep baseball sim.
Yeah,
And that's fantastic.
It's true. It's true. Season ticket baseball does do that. He's one of the who does that.
Yeah, I mean, when I went to Joe's house that time and I was showing him payoff pitch, we went through a few scenarios of base running until we kind of agreed on, well, let's see. And I think we agreed on the fast action card.
Fast action card. That's what I do.
See where it goes. And it works out for no matter who's running or what.
Yeah.
It works out. When I played Strat, I used the basic. And Anthony Apostoli goes, I don't know how to use the basic. I used the basic, but I used a lot of the advanced rules. I used this advanced stealing. So you had the pitcher's hold. You had the catcher's arm. The only thing, the cards I used was the basic side because I don't like how you can strat ball a lineup. I'm not pulling out a guy. Like you go to those tournaments, they used to, I don't know if they have them anymore, the star tournaments, drafts, these guys have everything broken down. They're going to take John Doe's left-handed hitting card over Babe Ruth.
Yeah.
It made no sense. I'm not going to play in anything like that. But the basic cards, the stars are going to play. And I limit who can start. How many, if I'm playing a full season, now they're limited in their at-bats and stuff like that. But yeah, the games out there have a ton of options. You could cherry pick 2 from column A, 3 from column B. That's the game for me. That's, I think it's fantastic.
I agree with the stealing in Strat because I still like to play some basic Strat. And just rolling off the stealing check, boy, it's just way too easy. But I found that if you factor in the catcher and the pitcher and all this stuff, it's almost way too hard. It's almost like it's feast or famine. At least that's kind of how I felt when I played some of the Strat.
I believe so. I play mostly advanced now with the E ratings, but. Correct me if I'm wrong. With the advanced, you don't have to really hold the runner if a guy wants to steal, but you can still do the catcher against his speed.
You don't have to hold the runner.
Right. But you can still just do the catcher. You don't have to get that complicated. That's what I'm trying to say. So you still have that option, just doing the catcher against the base runner's speed.
I'm trying to remember. So if you hold the runner, if you get that's single
super
plus.
Yeah.
Because that could happen even in the basic, I believe. Don't they have that on the basic?
No, there's no holding a runner. Super advanced is really holding the runner. That's mostly used. It's like it's the catcher's arm. Did he balk?
But even with basic, if you just use the catcher's arm, it becomes pretty realistic.
Yeah, you can do that. Yes.
Catch. So you got a guy like a AAA steal, like a Ricky Henderson, Vince Coleman, in my memory, and now you have a guy with a -2 arm.
You're absolutely right. Now that you say
going.
You're absolutely right because there is a formula if you play strictly basic where you can still flip the card over and take the catcher's arm and just apply it against the steal chart.
Oh, okay.
So let's say he's an A and it's 1 to 15, but the catcher's got a 4. You're minusing 4. Now he becomes you might be on -3. There's a formula. So, yes, you can on the basic.
It works. It works good. It's not going to be just, AAA's a AAA. It's going to steal 100 bases a year.
He's like Vince Coleman, and it's funny. When I play History Maker Baseball, Vince Coleman, it's like as soon as he gets on base, it's it's an automatic stolen base.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I do like checking the rating because when I was playing, when I was learning the APA Master Baseball game, my favorite thing about that was when you hit the ball into the outfield, on some hits, there's 3 different numbers. And so the ball was hit in one of 3 different areas. And depending on, and it's supposed to represent how far away from the fielder the ball was hit. So it's going to make it easier or harder for the runner to get to the next base. What was so good about the Master in APA was if I got a hit to center field, and I got a guy in first base, and it's Mickey Rivers in center field, I'm sending that runner to the third base, even if it's Rusty Staub, because Mickey Rivers' arm was not a strong arm, okay?
Right.
However, if I hit it to right field with Dwight Evans, I'm not even sure if I'm sending the guy from first to second, because Dwight Evans' arm is so good. It's like, you take the base and you stop and that's the beauty of what I felt the Master Game in Apple was it wasn't just a generic hit anymore. The two fielders, especially with that stark of a contrast, really made you think about what you were going to do with the base runners. And that's what I really enjoyed about. That's what I enjoy about when you bump up the difficulty to something beyond basic. That's what really makes it great.
Yeah.
And on
not everything you
that,
need.
so the first time I played Apple baseball alone, solitaire, I got a guy on, and I think I was playing like a 69 Mets, and it might have been Tommy Agee. And I'm looking, it's one out, I'm looking to steal. And I didn't know. I'm going through the book. In the basic, there's no steal.
Yeah, no, it's all built in.
It's supposedly built in.
Yeah.
That was the only thing that I wasn't too fond
But
about.
now there is a couple ways here. There is a stealing chart that's borrowed from the Master Game that you can use.
Really?
And use that with the basic mode if you want. And also anything, hybrid or Master Game, there's a chart to steal.
Yeah.
So they do.
That's what I'm saying.
They do have that, and I've used that in basic mode before too. It's it gives you the scenario about like what inning and what the score and who's winning, and then it gives their rating and it tells you if you can try to steal or not, and then you line up against the pitcher hold, the runner's speed, and the catcher's arm, and then you get a number to steal on.
And you incorporate that into the basic.
I have.
Wow.
That
was the only thing
it's a
that
chart
I just
here.
wasn't
I have.
fond of.
I'll see if I can send it to you, but it's it's pretty. It's I think Demo sent that to me. Yeah, actually, here it is right here. Look, it's the steal allowance chart.
Wow.
Yep, and it tells you what's going on here. It tells you what they're if they're A through G or whatever it is, and it tells you if you're an A runner, you can steal anytime. Nice. And then it gives you the scenario. You got your steal allowance, and then the pitcher's hold, and or the move the first it's called, and that, and then you got the catcher's arm, and you just factor in how many chances you get. So that is a thing that you can use in basic mode, and I've put that in there a couple times and had some fun with it. So again, every game has something to work around it. That's why I want to get back into the Master Game.
So and speaking of that. You're an Apple guy. I'm not. I'm not really. I Apple baseball, not really.
I do the basic,
more into hockey. What our topic is about, and about what we're looking for, and it just came to my mind. So, with Apple Master, do you have to buy new cards?
What?
I think Dave knows where I'm going.
If you have the real old original cards,
then you do.
You're better off having the new cards with the Master symbols. They do have conversions, though.
Oh, okay.
They do have. So, in other words, it'll say, if it's this, then here's a. I don't know if everything's converted, but
I didn't know that.
But in the Master rules, it says if you're using the older cards, here's a conversion for this.
Okay.
The only problem is that if you get the newer cards, everything is broken down.
The card
really nice.
It's similar to Strat, because Strat at one time they came out with Advanced, and then they'll reissue with new, with Super Advanced. So I guess it is similar in that sense, but there's no conversion chart with Strat.
Oh yeah, I would say it's not impossible, but I think if you want the best results, like ST says, if you want the best results, go with the newer cards and don't go with the conversion. And again, that'll stink for somebody who wants to play that and has to buy 30 seasons all over again if you've had them forever. But they do have a way that you can kind of make a conversion.
Okay.
I would willing to bet, though, the people that have those old cards, again, maybe I'm completely wrong here, but probably would just be happy with the basic and wouldn't really need the Master Game.
Maybe.
That's just my gut feeling is that if I had something that old, I'm just going to play the basic,
Yeah, because listen, I know Strat players who they've been playing for 50 years, buying every season, and then when the Super, let's say they reissue 1977 with the Super Advanced, they'll put their cards Advanced up to sell to buy the Super Advanced.
Anthony does it. He don't sell. He just buys the
gives them
new
away.
ones. No, he just buys the new ones. He's got a closet that would.
Well, it depends what you want. If you want the latest and greatest, then you got to go to the latest. It's like a lot of things. whether it's a computer or a TV or anything like that. Sometimes you got to upgrade.
And I get it, because I would probably do that. Let's say, maybe I shouldn't say this on stuff, but I would probably do that like with Hockey Blast. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If he came out with something new and said, "Oh, you need new cards,"
well, you know what would be great
if you love the game you're playing.
Yeah. What I would do with the Hockey Blast is that, his older sets were very boring looking cards, and the newer stuff has the nice colors and the hockey guy in the background, and they look super nice. If he were to redo those old sets, I would absolutely rebuy the Hockey Blast sets with the newer look, just because they look so
now, if you get them, he does all in-house printing, so you're going to get the newer looks. I gave a lot of the older ones away, that felty type paper.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gave a lot extra, and I
didn't know he redid all the old seasons.
I would say for the most part.
I don't
know if he did.
He just did a season for us. We had to go through miscellaneous, but you got to clear with him, and it's the new print style, everything, because he prints in-house.
Yeah, because if I would go back and I would get that 74 season if it was done up with a nice blue look, and I have a handful of seasons with him, and I started to do it on my own, but it took so long. I was like, oh, forget it, But I would rebuy all my Hockey Blast seasons over again with a new look. Absolutely. I would absolutely do that. So here's the big question here as we start to wrap up our talk. And again, hope you guys enjoyed our new segment Now and Then. And this episode, we're talking baseball games. With all the new games that have come out and the new ways of making games, do you think the newer games or the new games have improved on the old games? I know it's a tough question because we're talking games we played a long time and we really like.
You want to go, Vin?
Compared to new games.
I'm not even going to hesitate. It's the reason I'm playing all new games. That's the reason I have like 8,000 boxes of payoff pitch behind me. And I have season ticket baseball all over my laptop to print out when I'm ready. I've printed out a lot of them. I bought that. I thought it was great. All the World Series teams for each decade. I got from the 20s to the 90s because I think these new games are fantastic. Fantastic. They give me everything I need. I'm able to pick and choose what I want, as we discussed, with certain rules and certain options. To answer your question right then and there, yes, I do.
And to answer your question, the first thing that popped in my head was season ticket baseball, and I'd have to say yes with it. And the reason season ticket baseball pops in my head is Clay took a game, and you really have one chart. A lot of games are based on charts. You go through a book of charts, strat charts. Clay, it was brilliant how he took it and put everything on the card.
Intelligent.
And the only thing you have is the ballpark chart when you really think, and that's really it. And I think I say yes, it's improved.
And you know what the added thing is? When his PDFs, he went out of his way to tell his customers the option of buying your own perforated paper. Mm-hmm. Some people didn't like it. I love it. Oh, it's expensive. You know what? So is buying full seasons of any game. Mm-hmm. It's not that expensive. It's a lot of printing, so I want to make sure I'm going to play them. But they line up perfect. They separate. So I'm not worried about it. I could fold 2 sheets. With other games, when I have to separate, I was telling you guys the other day, it was just, I had to be real careful. I don't want to rip them.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, if I rip a card, I'm getting a whole new set.
Yeah, I know.
When you're reprinting it, if it's a PDF, right? Like same thing.
Yeah.
I have to, I'm sitting here thinking, and on your point, I have to say Pocket Pennant Run, too, I think has improved the hobby. I like the game. I play it. I play it quite a bit. Finney knows that. I talk about what I love what they did in improving the game is you have the option of player cards or team cards. You didn't have that years ago. It was all player cards, whatever. And I think they've improved the game by offering something like that. Right. And I like their game engine. I think it's a good game engine.
I mean, Dave mentioned it earlier. What Joe Bryant does, I don't know how he does it. He offers what we'll call all the splits. So he offers splits. He offers the basic without splits. Like most of the stuff I got from Mark was without splits. I don't mind that. I don't mind the splits either. But for the way I see things, like, you know, however, I like it without the splits. I don't need it. I don't know how he prints out both sets, but God willing, I hope he sells them both and all of them because he's such a great guy. But that's an option that, how many people offer that? You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think anybody
I'd like
does.
to have Keith offer bigger cards.
Yeah.
I'd pay $80 a season for him for bigger cards for baseball.
Yeah, they're tough to work with.
We're in trouble tonight because we admitted to Keith that we will rebuy the hockey seasons.
I
if he
know,
does
right?
them. And now Vinny said he'll pay $80 a set for bigger
I would.
cards.
Because I know it would be a lot more money, but for me, it's worth it. But now we have to get a few, you know, like another 500 guys.
Yeah.
You know, if there is a way PDF to blow up the cards if you buy PDFs.
Yeah.
There's a program where you can blow up the cards.
Oh, wow.
We could discuss that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We could discuss that. And I'll
I think that's
discuss
something
it.
that's been brought up before with his cards too, and I forget if he thought about doing anything with that or not. I don't remember. But
When I asked him about perforation, he said what he uses is the best out there. They make a thicker one, and I believe him because Keith is Keith.
I think the size of his cards is it's just like I don't know. It's how can I like it? I think it identifies play games.
If they
It's
came
their identity.
already separated, Joe,
Well,
I'm fine with it because I could see them. When
Yeah.
my wife saw I had the package, she goes, "Don't tell me you got to separate them." I said, "Eventually, after the 2 new seasons we got, I bought last year and I bought the 18-19." And I'm like, "Yeah, you have to separate them." Because I worry, especially with my hands, if I rip them, I get
I know.
that.
I know.
So, but,
So we talked about the newer games having a little bit of a leg up on the older games because of all the new technology and the ability to see what worked and what didn't, and then just kind of improving on what was old. But at the same time, to be fair, the older games, as great as some people love their new IPA beers and their brewery beers, still it feels good just to go back to a Budweiser once in a while and have a regular beer. So, and that's kind of how I look at some of the older games. So they're never forgotten. They're the granddaddies of the games. But again, there's so many choices out now, and so many great choices, and with all the games that we talked. There's so many games we haven't even talked about either.
and you just said that. You know what I was thinking? We haven't been brought up to computer games, all the advances over the years that have been made by Action PC and Strat and the different computer games out there.
Yeah, there's many of those. Yep.
A lot of stuff. But I guess it falls in the same thing. Yeah, are the improvements on a computer? Yeah, I'll take every improvement you got. Click, click, click.
Oh, absolutely,
Computer's handling it for me.
Yeah.
When I got a calculator in my head, not so much. So, yeah.
So anyway, so that is that. So we'd like to know everyone else's thoughts here as we talk. Now and then we talk about baseball games. What was and what is now, and what could be, and what are some of the things that you like. What are some of the older things that you like? Excuse me. What do you like playing? Have you tried any new games? Are you happy with the older games? How would you compare new to old? That's what we want to do. That's what we're talking about today here on Now and Then. All right, so what I want to do next is, before we sign off, I want to get to our 3 stars of the week here in episode 285. And we have some 3 people who have been with us a long time, and I want to thank them here in episode 285. Our number 3 star is David Yamada. David, thank you so much for supporting the show. Our number 2 star, I hope I'm going to say this correctly, John Marisic. John, again, thank you so much for everything you've done here for the show and continued listening. And our number 1 star, in no particular order, Richard Rohrig. Richard, again, thank you so much to all three of you guys and to all our Patreons who help keep the show going. Here's now up to episode 285. Wow, that's incredible.
Oh, getting close to the 300 mark.
Yeah, I know. We'll get there maybe by the end of the year, right? I don't know.
Might.
Well, the first part of the year, we'll have to see. We missed last week because I was really sick last week.
Yes, you were.
I actually tried to work one day last week, and I was flattened, and so I had to call out sick the rest of the week. But
I told you it's miserable to last for like.
It's every day. It's a little better every day, but it's just not gone. And even the wife's like, "Man, I'm still tired, and I do one thing and I'm tired." And it's like, I know it's just can't
it's not
get
like
rid of it.
flipping the pillow, bro.
No, it's and every day I say I'll wake up, I'll feel better tomorrow, and I do, but like just a little, a little. So I'm hoping that this will be done and we'll be back to a normal schedule. But anyway, let's wrap things up here. So again, you've been listening to the Digital to Dice podcast, episode 285. Now and Then baseball games, our new series. We're going to go back and talk about some different games in our Now and Then segment. Ways to get a hold of us: digitaltodice.com is the website. 978-751-DICE is the text line. digitaltodice@yahoo.com is the email. And over on Facebook, facebook.com/groups/digitaltodice. And I'd love to find someone that'll sit down with me, whether it's Tebow or somebody else, and sit down and come on here on the camera and walk me through some Appa Master. I have played it in the past. I just want someone that is like really proficient at it, that can just say, hey, here's the steps I take to play the game, and it'll make life easier, because I'm all over the place right now checking things, and I really want to kind of get better at that. So again, Digital to Dice.
Dave promises you won't get shut out of the convention if you help him.
Yeah. We're hoping to have convention news shortly. Mike Canastrari's been on his horse down there in Connecticut, going back and forth. I believe it's probably going to be at the same place it was last year in May. I don't have a definite date or times or anything. What I do know, it's probably going to be Friday and Saturday this year instead of Saturday and Sunday. So plan on May of 2026 in Connecticut again on a Friday and a Saturday. I don't have the definite dates. I think we are going to cap it at 75 or 80 people. So if you want to go to this thing, last time it filled up pretty quick. And if all the people come that didn't go last year, it's going to fill up fast. So once we get that information, we'll get it out to you, and you can get your tickets and reserve your spot for that, so you can go, because if it's going to be a lot bigger than last year, we do have to cap that. It's whatever. So anyway, Vinny and Joe, thanks for coming on talking to me this week.
Thanks for having me, Steve.
Yeah,
always a pleasure.
Yeah, this is a good topic. This is a good time.
Yep.
So. All right, and we'll talk to everyone later. Bye-bye, everyone.
Night all.
Good night.